Welcome back, and what in the Cardano is going on here? Ripple has dropped Cardano's logo in a video that they recently posted to their X page. What does this mean for Cardano? What does this mean for Ripple? Or is this just some kind of error on Ripple's part? We're going to discuss it all. We're going to go in depth. I'm going to give you guys my opinions, and we're going to analyze both the Ripple XRP ecosystem and the Cardano ADA ecosystem and understand once and for all what in the Cardano is going on here. Make sure you guys are subscribed to this channel. Also give the video a free thumbs up. We upload almost every single day to bring you the latest happening in the financial world. Nothing I say is financial advice. And if you want to help support the channel, click the super chat down below in the comments, or you can click the join button to become a channel member. So what in the Cardano and Ripple is going on here? Ripple releases a video featuring the Cardano logo as its intro. Is something brewing here? Well, we've been hearing rumors about, Cardano and XRP, Cardano and Vitalik, Cardano and I mean, all the blockchains basically have at some point come into the purview of potential partnership. And for whatever reason, whether they have or have not integrated these other chains, this kind of discussion between XRP, Ripple, and Cardano has kind of been escalating more recently, and not even just recently, like in 2025, back in 2024, and also previously. As you guys know, I've been covering Cardano since I started this channel in 2018, and effectively been following Cardano since its Genesis launch back in 2017. And so we have seen kind of the conversations at least being had about potential partnerships or potential integrations. But so far to date, we have not seen any of that come to fruition. Even right after the election, Cardano founder hinted at a Ripple partnership. What could this mean for crypto? So the executives, and by the way, this was right after the election in November. So right after President Trump won, we started to see the Trump pump in the market. It says executives of two prominent cryptocurrencies are in the exploratory stage of a possible partnership between the two crypto platforms. Now, this was back in November. So the Cardano founder and Ripple CEO can be considered trailblazers, Okay. Reports said that the two prominent industry leaders have entered into talks of potential collaboration between the decentralized platforms, which others viewed as a key milestone for the industry. Both confirmed that they are exchanging views and ideas in solidarity with crypto industry, hinting at a potential alliance among their crypto platforms, a news that sparked optimism for the industry. Now, keep in mind, this was the actual tweet post, okay? Charles wrote, I just spoke with Brad Garlinghouse. He's a great CEO and extremely collaborative. I'm excited to see how the future unfolds. Basically, Charles tweeted that he had a conversation with Brad, and then Brad responded and said, thanks for the kind words, Charles. Now is the time for the crypto community to come together, push for a level playing field, and clear rules of the road. A rising tide lifts all boats. Okay, so I didn't hear anything here about a partnership. By the way, remember, this is in November. This is right after the election, November 12th. Okay, there was nothing about a partnership. It was just we're talking and we're hopefully going to come together, and the crypto community is going to push for the clear regulations from the regulatory agencies, push for better legislation and laws so that crypto can be integrated into TradFi and vice versa. All those kind of conversations, which we've been seeing. And remember, as I say, during these hype cycles, during the bull run, we hear announcements of announcements of announcements of announcements, and each announcement of an announcement keeps getting the price pumped up higher. But is it based on fundamentals? Well, now looking back at the Ripple and Charles conversation back in November, the answer was no. But it really was not yet. Because now we have seen that Ripple has just released a video on their X page, and we're going to look at the video. And the video is on tokenization, but the video started with the Cardano logo. And so there has been a lot of speculation. And again, this is just speculation. Personally, you guys, if you watch my videos, you know that I'm not really bullish on XRP or Cardano in my investment portfolio. That doesn't mean I'm not bullish about the technology or where the potential future can be. Just from an investment standpoint, I don't see the opportunity compared to some of the other cryptos. For instance, Ethereum, at least at this part in the cycle, Ethereum hasn't reached its all-time record high. There's a lot of FUD about it. It is the premier layer 1 and layer 2 blockchain ecosystem out there, regardless of what anybody else says, right? We see the data in market cap and DeFi usage and total value locked and all these metrics. It's number one consistently for the longest period of time. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't mean that Cardano and XRP are not good investments. So let's look at this video and really understand what in the Cardano is going on here. Is this really Ripple kind of previewing a potential partnership with Cardano? And remember, guys, the challenges that XRP faces moving forward, and I do think that a lot of the challenges that they face are exacerbated by the fact that they were kind of suppressed for so many years by the SEC. And so they weren't able to kind of stay on top of their game. Imagine they spent all that money that they spent on legal fees on actually building their ecosystem out. And they would potentially have all the technology Ethereum, Solana, Avalanche, all these other blockchains have already. They would have it now. But because they were spending all this money on legal fees, they were not spending it on development, right? And so XRP does not have smart contracts. XRP does not really have interoperability. XRP doesn't have DeFi. XRP doesn't have a lot of these things that these other ecosystems have built out and bring more value to the chain. And the issue then becomes, can XRP compete with the other chains that are doing way more? Well, it seems like they're trying to catch up a little bit. And Cardano, on the other hand, Cardano does have a lot of the technology that XRP doesn't have. Is it up to the level that some of these other ecosystems have? In my opinion, the answer is no. But that doesn't mean that XRP or Ripple aren't going to lean on Cardano if Cardano does have the technology and XRP can bridge over. We've also heard from Charles that he would be interested in kind of deploying the XRP stablecoin that's going to be launched. I think it's called RLUSD on Cardano. Now, part of that, again, is Cardano not having stable coins, right? They're going to say, well, Cryptoviser, there are stable coins on Cardano. Okay, I'm talking about real stable coins, guys, right? They don't have Tether and they don't have USDC. In my view, this was a Cardano choice. I don't think that this was a Circle choice or a Tether choice. I think this was Cardano choosing to not go in that direction many years ago. And so here we are today with still no stable coins, and XRP has no stable coins either, but they're fixing that by adding a stable coin that is regulated in the United States and in TradFi. Big difference, big difference. So I don't know that XRP technology can handle all the other technology that's built, smart contracts, tokenization, tokens, and all of that. And so this is where potentially XRP would lean on another blockchain like Cardano that does have the capabilities. I don't know that we've necessarily seen the stress test of the Cardano ecosystem at a global scale with like a Ripple integration, but who knows? Anyway, let's go ahead and watch this video. So this is from Ripple. This was posted on April 7th of 2025. It says by 2023, a $600 billion to $18.9 trillion shift is coming as tokenization reshapes global finance. Why, you may ask? Regulation and institutional adoption, real-world assets like bonds and real estate, and faster interoperable financial infrastructure. The institutions that act now will lead the next generation or era of finance. Get ready for the new tokenization report. So let's watch this video. It's about 50 seconds. If there's sound, I'm gonna have to mute it. Otherwise, we're gonna get copyrighted. And let's watch. And it's specifically at the beginning of the video. So I'll play the beginning a few times and then let the rest play out. But I really want you to focus on the intro piece of this video, and then we'll discuss what this all means. And by the way, while we're watching, I'm going to be drinking some coffee. What are you guys drinking in today's video? Let me know down below in the comments. And while you're down there, don't forget to give the video a free thumbs up and click that join button to become a channel member for as little as $1.99 if you guys like this kind of content and want to help support the channel. $1.99 is the lowest tier. We also have other tiers if you want to help support with a larger donation. Anyway, thanks to everybody who does watch. And even if you guys don't financially support, giving the video a thumbs up does help. And let me know you guys enjoy this content. Let's watch.
Tokenization is reshaping financial markets, making assets more accessible efficient, and secure. By streamlining transactions and enabling fractional ownership.
So there is music, so I'm going to have it continue to play in the background. But really, that was it. The first 1 second of the video was where all of this speculation about Cardano and Ripple coming together. Now, let's be clear. When we're looking at the actual visuals in this video, yes, it is custom tailored in terms of the data that they're talking about and the amount of money and percentages that are displayed on the screen. But let's be clear, most of the visuals that we're seeing appear to be stock imaging. Like, this is a stock image. This is not Ripple going into a lady who lives, in a large high rise and going and filming her in her house at night, touching her non-touch screen computer screen, right? This is all stock footage. And so when we scroll back to the beginning of the video, what you can see here is an image of a Cardano logo in the middle of a coin, and it is a Cardano coin. You can see it specifically says Cardano and ADA over here, ADA and Cardano. And the coin is spinning, and you can clearly see that this is stock footage. Now, the question would remain, right? Would a large company, global innovator like Ripple, create this type of video and accidentally put in a competing crypto's logo? And not only a competing crypto's logo, but literally the coin that, obviously there's going to be a lot of speculation and conversation about. Like, was this all just a coincidence and they just used the wrong stock footage? This is potential. But a lot of the Cardano community are speculating that this has more meaning than potentially it does, right? And there is some legitimacy to that claim because, again, like, it is a stock video, right? But why would Ripple how would they not catch it? Like, how would the intern who runs the Ripple page not see, oh, wait, that's a Cardano logo, right? By the way, they could also be messing with the Cardano community, like, yeah, put that stock footage in. Let's mess with the Cardano community a little bit. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, this is something that we have to really think about because tokenization can occur on Cardano, right? We know Cardano has the capabilities of NFT type of technologies, not just from like a JPEG type situation like we saw with the NFT craze back in 2021, 2022, but more specifically on like product tracking, right? From farm to table effectively. They've done this, I think, with wine and maybe with some chocolates or grapes or something like that, but they definitely have the technology to do it. Can it scale up? Who knows, right? It hasn't really been stress tested in the Cardano ecosystem yet because they haven't had a large partner like Ripple on board with them. So not sure, right? But I want you guys to remember that Charles was once critical of the XRP ecosystem and engaged in a slugfest with its community over allegations connected to the SEC lawsuit against Ripple. Hoskinson later apologized, but there was a lot of people in the ecosystem that were like, no, Cardano is not friendly to XRP. I mean, who knows whether it was or wasn't. But anyway, so in this post, somebody noted that something is brewing between the two ecosystems. They mentioned that in their podcast, that the partnership may finally come to the limelight, possibly this month or in May. But again, personally, my viewpoint is that this video is not a direct representation of a partnership that's coming. There is a potential that there is a partnership coming, but I don't know that this video is clearing that out. And this is a stretch, even for the Cardano ecosystem. But again, this tells me, okay, we still have maybe more downside to go. And it also tells me that just based on the speculation alone, we are going to see many cryptocurrencies, I believe, in this year, 2025, move much, much higher, right? When the markets do turn around, and they will. I mean, we have a president who is clearly looking at the markets. He may say he's not, but he's looking at the markets, right? The markets are going to turn around. And when they do, a lot of this speculation is going to come up again, and people are going to be aping in, like people who do not follow crypto at all. They may hold a few cryptos in their portfolio and look at it, once in a while, but they're not like following on a regular basis, like many of you who watch these videos on the channel. And so the majority of people, they are going to see something like this and say, oh my God, this could happen. And listen, a lot of the theories around Ripple and these like partnerships that they're possibly going to have in the future that, are just kind of rumors, but, Ripple has not really confirmed nor denied. These all turn out to be like, yeah, no, Ripple is doing these things, right? I mean, people didn't think that Ripple was going to beat the SEC. They beat the SEC. People didn't think Ripple was going to get their own regulated stable coin. They have their own regulated stable. I mean, even New York, even after Ripple's lawsuit with the SEC was effectively over, New York withdrew the green listing of the XRP coin in the bit license for no reason. I mean, there were people who were trying to find out from New York why they removed the XRP approval, and I don't think that there was an answer to date. But then we find out that Ripple got approved by bit license for the RLUSD stablecoin. And then XRP started getting relisted in a lot of the New York jurisdiction. Even on Gemini started listing XRP. And they didn't even like XRP before that. And now you can actually use the Gemini credit card and earn XRP cashback. So for the XRP fans that didn't know that, yeah, that's possible right now with Gemini. Use my link down below to sign up for the Gemini crypto exchange. And you get free crypto after you make a certain purchase. These are affiliate links. They do help support the channel. Thanks to everybody who does use any of the links down below in the description. You can also get a Ledger hardware wallet down below in the description as well. So, yeah, I mean, my viewpoint is, listen, I don't know whether there is or is not a partnership with XRP or Ripple or Cardano. My leaning would be no. I don't think that Ripple or XRP are thinking about Cardano right now. I don't think they're thinking about any other crypto ecosystem. I think they're thinking about Ripple. And remember, my viewpoint is that Ripple does not really care about XRP, right? They don't need to use it. They've said they're going to fully integrate it into their platform. They still have not done it, right? As like a mandatory usage, right? You can use RippleNet and not use XRP. This is a huge issue. The other huge issue that I see is that we know that Ripple is selling XRP on the open market. And they've said, even as of recently in 2025, they will continue to sell. Like they're not stopping, and they have 40% of the circulating supply. And so this is going to keep the price suppressed in my view, maybe not during a bull market, maybe not during a speculative phase. But I am always thinking ahead. This is what the markets do. The markets price things in. So the markets are looking ahead. I believe that we are going to see, similar to what we saw with Solana, we've already moved towards new all-time record highs in XRP. And I think this was a repricing from the last few years, especially after the SEC kind of suppression. But in the bear market, we're going to see very similar activity to what we've seen with Solana. Solana's already down like 60% from its all-time record high just in January, and we're in April. XRP is close to all-time highs, potentially going to go to $4, $5, $6, $7, just based on the speculation, and then it's going to come right back down because, again, Ripple is going to continue to sell hundreds of millions of dollars every single month of their XRP. And whether that's right or wrong, I don't know. I mean, if you're buying the coin at this point, you know that they're going to be able to do this. So you're kind of approving, yes, this is a good investment, even with them selling. And even with everything else going on, because, again, XRP does not have the technologies that these other ecosystems have. And so how can the valuation of XRP be higher than a Solana, or be higher than an Avalanche, or be higher than a Chainlink, when Chainlink's technology is significantly superior than XRP's? It's not saying that XRP can't do it. It's just saying that XRP is really a payment rail, right? It's a payment system. That's what they've created. That's what they've been going after as a business model. Cardano, on the other hand, has kind of been all over the place, right? A few years ago, Cardano was going to be the financial operating system of the world. Now they want to be made in America, even though the ICO was in Japan, and IO Global used to be IO Hong Kong, right? And so Cardano needs to, I believe, right? This is my opinion. You guys can disagree if you want, that's fine. But I personally believe that Cardano, number one, needs to stay on top of the technology, right? A lot of what Cardano does is like, oh, well, we're going to be able to do this. We're going to be able to do that. And then they never actually achieve it. while they're focusing on other nonsense, right? 2021, they were focusing literally hundreds of millions of dollars through the ecosystem and through support and through voting power effectively to continue to push the NFT ecosystem, right? Create NFT marketplaces, create NFT, like studios and all this stuff. Meanwhile, we didn't even have smart contracts down. We didn't even have interoperability down, bridges to other chains down, all that kind of stuff. And so what ends up happening is Cardano's chasing technology. Cardano's chasing narratives instead of having the narrative and being part of the narrative. And so they're trying to kind of, it seems, wiggle into XRP, getting this spotlight and potentially going to have a major uptrend based on the favorable regulatory environment, probably going to go IPO eventually. They continue to pull money out of the market because they know, right, they're selling from their escrow. So Cardano trying to jump on this, right? And whether it's right, wrong, indifferent, doesn't matter, right? Cardano needs to be part of the narrative, and being part of the narrative is not chasing the narrative. It's not just Cardano. There's other chains that do the same thing, but they need to be part of the narrative, right? What is the narrative? The narrative is smart contracts. The narrative is tokenizing real world assets. And so Cardano should be trying to do this on their own, not saying, oh, well, XRP wants to tokenize assets. Well, look, we're going to do it with them because they put our logo in their video. It's like, no, you need to have a proof of concepts right first, right? You need to actually deploy the technology and show that it works and show that people want to use it. This is really not what Cardano has done because they jumped from one thing to another, right? All that money that was put into NFTs back in 2021 in the NFT ecosystem effectively is unused today because nobody, besides NFT creators, right? Nobody's trading NFTs. Nobody's excited about NFTs. And it's not just in Cardano, it's in all the ecosystem. I mean, Bored Ape Yacht Club, these NFTs were selling for millions of dollars. Now they're selling for maybe thousands of dollars. It's still a lot of money, but it's a 98% drop from where it was. Not good. And so, yes, would it be great for Cardano and Ripple to partner up? Absolutely. Do I think it's actually going on? I don't think so. I don't think so. Because what we are going to see is either one, Ripple is just going to create the technology themselves, which is kind of what they proved that they're going to do, especially with the stablecoin. They said, F this. And by the way, Cardano tried to do this also with their own stablecoins, which have been massive failures in my view, because they didn't do it the route that would get them that interoperability, that would get them the usage and the exposure to these other ecosystems. There was a few years ago that Cardano's community chose collectively to stop talking and stop pushing the narrative. I remember other YouTubers started saying, hey, we're going to raise the funds to get USDC integrated. And I don't know, the whales kind of stepped in and said, no, you're not. No, you're not. And then they shut up, and still USDC is not on the blockchain, on the Cardano blockchain. And that's really a shame, because instead of pushing the creation or the integration of these other ecosystems that do bring value, every ecosystem that has tied into USDC, that has tied into Ethereum, that has tied into Solana with native bridges, have succeeded. I'm very critical of Internet Computer Protocol for doing this as well. They keep talking about chain fusion technology and chain key cryptography, which gives them access and somewhat of a bridge to another ecosystem, but it's not the same as a native bridge, like what we see in DeFi and like what we see on the Ethereum and Solana and Avalanche and Aptos and Ondo ecosystems. We just don't see it on Internet Computer. And I've been very critical of Dfinity for not pursuing these things either. Now, one could say Internet Computer doesn't need stablecoins on their ecosystem because they're a compute platform. I get that point, I do, but the ecosystem's building can grow at a much faster pace when you're able to interoperate with other ecosystems and bring technologies from Ethereum over to your blockchain. I mean, that's just what we've seen from these other ecosystems that do tap in. And for some reason, XRP is not tapped in, Cardano is not tapped in, and what we're not talking about in this video, Internet Computer, is not tapped in. They're just not doing it for whatever reasons. And so, yeah, I mean, that's kind of where I stand on these ecosystems. This, for me, is why they're not investable in this cycle, XRP or Cardano. because XRP is trying to chase that stablecoin narrative, because stablecoins are going to be an integral part of the US, especially after legislation. And so XRP is being part of that narrative. They're not chasing the narrative. They're going to be part of the narrative. Why is Cardano not doing that? They have 5 stablecoins of their own. Why are they not regulated in any US state as a stablecoin issuer? Why are they not bit licensed as a stablecoin issuer? And why are they not going to be part of the stablecoin narrative? Instead, they're going to have to chase the narrative and explain to every investor or developer why they're not integrated with USDC or Tether, right? Because that's the conversation that's going to have to be had if you want an ecosystem to come on. They're like, okay, well, why don't you have USDC? Oh, well, we have our own stable coins. We don't really need USDC. And this, I mean, come on. And it will be good if Cardano does get RLUSD, the XRP stablecoin. But are they actually going to do it? Number one. And number two, because it's a stablecoin, stablecoins are centralized for the most part. I mean, algorithmic stablecoins not necessarily, but Tether, USDC, RLUSD, these are going to be centralized stablecoins. Will Ripple allow Cardano to integrate the RLUSD stablecoin? Because they could say, no, we're not going to let you integrate it. And if they do that, that's going to be a lot of drama, but hopefully that wouldn't happen. Hopefully XRP or Ripple will allow integration of their stablecoin in these other ecosystems so that there could be a level of interoperability into XRP. But XRP may not want that. They may not need that. They may not care about interoperability. That's a big difference between a decentralized network like Bitcoin and Ethereum, which are looking out for the network, and Ripple, which is a centralized network that is looking out for Ripple, not XRP. Right? There's a big difference, and I really don't think that XRP holders truly understand the concept of how centralized XRP is. Even just from a control aspect, where they still have 37% of the supply in their escrow that they could technically sell. So yeah, anyway, those are just my thoughts. I think this was just a stock footage put in here, but it's fun to talk about, fun to speculate in the markets, because everything we do is speculation in these markets. Whether we think Bitcoin's going to go up, that's speculation, right? We think Bitcoin's going to go down, that's speculation. And so, yeah, hopefully we're speculating on the right side of this market, and hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. Remember, nothing I say is financial advice. These are just my opinions. I could be wrong. I could be maybe having wrong info that's bringing me to these opinions, but we can agree to disagree. So let me know your opinions down below. I'll see you guys when I see you. Crypto on.